Okay, let's make this our part 3. And we had finished up doing a bunch on the house already, or the cottage, I should say. And everything else is pretty well set as far as down here goes. We have to do the kitchen from some front doors and the utility room, things like that. So what I'm going to do now is, since I don't need all these numbers at this point, I'm going to come up here and freeze off my dimension layer, just so you can see it a little bit easier. You can see how things were done. Now I am going to do a video with a bunch of tips and tricks for you guys, so you can refer to that too. But let's go ahead, and I'm going to start down here. We need 2 doors, one coming in the house, one leaving out the house, and both of those need to be 3 foot. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the 3 foot door, and I'm going to take it from, I'm going to drop it back here and drop it in here. Now I'm in the wall layer, and I'm going to figure out where I want my wall to be, where I'm going to start my door. I want my door this direction, and it's facing pretty much where I want it to be. So I'm just going to come up here, and I'm going to put the door line here. Make sure I have my ortho on so the line's straight. That's a 3 foot door, but I'm going to go ahead and do a trim here, here, and I'm going to move this door from that corner here to here. And I need to go turn some snaps off. I've been doing other work, so let's get rid of this geometric center for me. I definitely don't need the node. Probably not going to need the quadrant. I'm just tired of seeing some of these things keep popping up. So I put the wall here. I'm going to just go ahead and go copy. Take it from that intersection of midpoint to here. And when I do this trim, I'm not going to hit my space bar because I'll have little lines to trim in there. I'm going to pick both the edges, right click, and trim this out. So there's my front door. So check it out. I got my front door. This is my living room area, my great room. I come down this small hallway. I've got the bathroom set up. I've got a bedroom, a linen closet. I've got a closet. And remember, I put this door so it's facing against this wall. And then I've got this door coming in. I have a double closet here. So let's do my next thing I know is right back here, my utility room. So in my utility room, I am going to need a water heater. So let's copy out a water heater. I'm just going to put this right here for the time being. Let's put it down here. And I'm going to get a washer and dryer. And take this dryer and this washer. I'll take my water heater at the same time. Let's get this in this area. All right, now with that, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to rotate. This is the front, this is the front. So let's rotate these guys really well. And make sure you have your ortho on, because that'll be a mess if not. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move my water heater. And I'm going to probably take it from the back quadrant from here. And I'm going to first start, I'm going to go ahead, I'm just snapping it somewhere. And then I'm going to move it along that line so that it is touching and it looks good. Make sure I have my ortho on. Let's see. Trying to think where it's going to be best for. I'm going to just place it right here. And now I'm going to do my wash machine and my dryer. And see, I'm just picking a line, an endpoint, so this is on the same thing. So I'm going to move this one down. And I'm going to take this one and move this one down. Okay, so I've got that all set up right there. Now I do got a little bit of a problem here. I was going to have my door on this side. Well, now what? I'm going to put my door over here. That's not a big deal. So I'm going to offset, since it's an outside door, let's go like 6 inches. And this is just 4 to 6 inches out here. And I'm going to move up and trim. This back door is going to swing out. And, you know, a lot of these doors now are all swinging out. They're doing that. They're changing things with hurricane codes and such. So I'm going to copy here to here. And I'm going to trim if I can pick the right button. So I'm going to take my white line here, my wall line, and get out here. Now, I can scoot all this stuff down further if I want. That's not a problem. I can move these two down and put my water heater closer here. I just feel I like to have the water heater in a safer area. It's kind of your choice on that. We will discuss it if there's some issues. But let's go ahead and bring that down a little. People will be able to get to it very easily. All those little pieces to it. So there, I've got that set. So there's my utility room. Now, I got some stuff going on here. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do as far as what kind of door I'm going to put here. I'm going to think on this a little bit, but in the meantime, let's figure out what's going on. The first thing I do know is I'm going to extend this line down here. And I am just going to draw a random line here because I just want to bring this thing back a little bit because I am not sure. I don't want to make a mess of stuff. I don't know how far out I need this wall. So I'm just going to leave it as such for right now. And I know this wall is going to stay there, so that's fine. So I can trim this wall out. And notice I'm not trimming these walls out till I know I'm not moving them anymore because nothing's worse than having all these little pieces of your lines leaving you a hot mess. So that's what I have here right now. So let's do the next thing. I'm going to start and put down in some counters. So I'm putting myself in the counter layer, and I'm going to go offset. And your kitchen counters are approximately 2 foot. Okay? So I'm going to take each of my walls. Oops, you know what I forgot to do? Offset, L for layer, C for current, and then my 2 foot. That will save me some time. And I'm just going to put this stuff in here for right now. Okay? That's the basic. So I'm going to fill it out these edges. I'm going to fill out this edge here. And before I figure anything else out, let's get down to what am I going to need to put in there. So let's go back. I'll leave myself in counters. I'm only moving things. So let's see. I am going to want a sink. And you know what? I'm just going to take a simple single sink here. I'm going to put that in the area. I'm going to put that right about here because, I'll turn that snap off, I'm going to float it between the walls. And I like to do, if I'm going to have to do dishes, I'm going to do it right there. And I'm going to go so I have my window above. I'm going to need a refrigerator. And you know what? It's vacation. I don't need that huge refrigerator. So I'm going to come over here. And I'm going to rotate it. Make sure you got your snap on. Oops, I forgot a line. How stupid was that? Rotate. Ortho on. And I'm going to go ahead and move this. Oops. Here. I'm going to put it in this corner right here. And you know, I think I'm going to take and just move it a little bit off that corner so it's not so doggone right in that pathway. So I'm going to move that over to there. So there's my fridge. And now my last thing I need is my stove. Okay. Let's find my stove. Here it is right here. So I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to bring this over here. Now, when I do this one, of course, got to rotate this one also. I'm going to keep that ortho on. And I'm going to move this back. I take it from the middle. I'm going to go to the middle right here to start. But you know what? I'm going to bring this closer up more to the sink because I'm going to have a doorway down here to get in from that utility room. So I'm going to bring that up more here. Okay? So I have that done, and I do want a little counter by the edge. So the next thing I have to do is got to use some common sense. See, here's the fridge. Here's my counter line. I need to get a line in here, and I'm just going to draw one straight across for right now. And I'm going to trim, and I'm picking my lines to trim, my cutting plane lines here, so that I have that right there. And now I'm going to move this right here close to the edge of my fridge. That's the end of my counters. If you go to your house and you take a look at it, I'm sure where your refrigerator is, you have the edge of your counter. See, so there's my refrigerator snugged up against the counter. There's my sink. And notice I've got space in front of my sink, space behind my sink, because this has to float in the middle there. You can move it to make it a little bit better if you like, but that'll work fine. See this little guy right here? Once again, I'm just going to throw a line in and I'm going to trim it in a minute. And I'm going to trim, and I'm picking my lines. And think about your own stove at your house, okay? Does it not have the counter at the very corner edge of your stove, such as there? And I'm going to copy it and put it on the other side. Because if you leave the counter over top of your stove, you're going to start a fire. So we're going to go ahead and do a trim. And I'm going to take here and here and trim out that line here. So there's my stove. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a small countertop over here. I'm going to copy. I'm going to drop this down probably a foot, 12 inches, and make a small little edge so you just don't have that hot stove right next to it. So there, takes that countertop away. There. So there's my kitchen so far. All right, so for my laundry room, I have to get in here. I'm going to show you how we're going to put a pocket door on. I'm going to see if I have enough room. I can have my electrical through back here, where I can have it this way, and I can put my pocket door along here if I like. So this is going to the laundry room. I'm going to take this big 3-footer. Let's see if this is going to work for me. So I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to bring it down here. Now, I'm going to just drop it here for right now. Now, this pocket door, actually, you have to have the room to slide this into your wall. And that little red line is important. I'll show you why. I'm going to do an offset of 4 inches, and I'm going to take from here and come up. Now, I'm going to delete this line, so I'm going to put a red layer so you can see. And now I'm going to take this pocket door, and I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to rotate it so it goes in this direction here, because it has to go into the wall this way because there's no wall over here. I'm going to go and move, and I'm going to take it all, including that little red line, and take it from the end of that red line to the end of here. Now, I have to look at this. Will I have enough space behind this stove to be able to put electrical here? I can bring the electrical this way, and it's going to fit. It's going to be tight, but I can do it. So I'm going to delete that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little red line, and I'm going to put this on my wall layer. Okay. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim. And when I trim, I'm going to get rid of this and this. So you can see this is like the door. If you look at it, this is the door. And if this is the door, it would slide closed, slide back in. So it slides back and forth. So that's what's a pocket door. It goes into the wall. You can't do that if you had water or if there was more electrical and such here. I couldn't do that at all. So now I have that set, but I can put my electrical right over here and it still can work. Okay, so I have that. Now, let me see. I got to make sure I've got, yes, I got a hidden layer already set up here. With this, I want to do some kind of a bar here where I can have a pass-through, so have a little bit of a wall and then the bar. So you know what? That is all a matter of actually drawing and figuring things out what you want. I'm going to take a line, and actually I'm just going to offset. See, this is the wall. Let's do a total of, let's give ourselves a 12-inch or even more. You can go 16-inch if you want. I'm going to start off with 12 and see what it looks like. So let's go, oh goodness, we got to think on this. This is 4. 12 minus 4 is 8, and half of 8 is 4. So let's go ahead and go offset 4 inches. It'd be nice if I hit the 4. And let's go this direction. Let's go this direction. Well, you know what? I don't mind the 4 inches over here but I definitely don't like the 4 inches over here. I'd like that to be a little bit larger. I'm going to go ahead and give that another 4 inches. So this way we have an area for people's legs. So now I'm going to delete this one. And I'm going to figure out where I'm going to have this actually start. I could probably have this counter start directly from there. I'm going to break it off just a little bit. So let's go offset with another 4. Let's bring this one here. And let's fillet this out. Let's go from here to here. And here to here. And I really don't know how long this is. Let's take a peek and see. From here, let's go to here. That's 3'6". What if we were just to do a 4-foot counter? So let's go ahead and do offset. And let's see what a 5-foot counter would look like. Because you know what? You can change this up anytime your heart wants. 5 foot looks pretty good. So I'm going to trim this out. So I'm going to do that. Now, this is our counter. If you look at your counters normally don't have perfectly square edges like that. Let's go ahead and do a fillet. And we'll do the R for radius. And let's see what 3 inches looks like. You guys see, we're just trying. That looks pretty decent right there. So we can have a flat back here, and we can even do something along the lines of another fillet with a radius. And let's make the ones inside less. So we're breaking off those edges. Now, check out that doorway here, or this wall underneath it. Do you remember when we went in and under modify we have break at a point? Let's pick this wall and break it at that intersection. And let's do break at a point, and let's take this wall. So let's see what it's doing here. Let me come back. Break at a point, so I'm going to break here and pick that intersection. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two and drop these on the hidden layer. Now they really don't look hidden, but they really are. They'll show up later on. So we know that's what's holding it up. So we've got that all set. So that's not too bad. So we basically have our floor plan all done. So that's set up. So the next lecture we're going to have is something on our windows. So this actually works pretty well. So let's hit save off on this. Let me come up with another video that's just going to be some tips and tricks for you. I want to show you how to do some stretching, things like that. And then we'll do the window lecture next. All right. So I think that should get you guys set. Hopefully. All right.